What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden. We are doing a Thomas J. Chambers Memorial Tournament gameplay for you guys again. This is all recorded. These were recorded games at the tournament that was intended to be live streamed. Didn't quite work out, so did the recording instead. Rounds 2, 3, and 4 have already been uploaded. Round 2 is lost in the abyss, but we kind of been progressing here in the quality of each game being released. With rounds 2 and 3, they were kind of quick, just the raw footage with the scores in there. Round 3 or round 4, we had the card overlays for you who may not be familiar with the card abilities off the top of your head. And for rounds 5 and 6, I am joined by this guy down here, Mr. John Hendricks. Welcome, John. How's it going?
What's up, guys?
All right, and we are going to be doing some commentary on the Lackey Grand. I'm used to Lackey Grand Prix stuff on the Thomas J. Chamber Memorial Tournament. We'll just say TJC. Get our TLAs in order here, and we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. This is round 5. Brian Jones versus Jay Chambers,
AKA Booster Jones.
Booster Jones. All right. So looks like Brian's got Humble, Lawless, and the Lost Souls out. Jay is choosing, I believe he won the die roll. I watched that before we started here.
So we've got Delivered in the Ascension.
Unless
so it looks like Brian's going first. Is that not? Unless there was no stars.
That's what I was just thinking. Unless Jay didn't have any star abilities. So we've got Brian running GOC good stuff on the left side here, and it's got he has a demon defense. He's doing like the choose the blocker kind of stuff with the place tokens, and then Jay is over here with the honeypot deck that you kind of just got to see a little glimpse of as Brian was playing a Lost Soul from it. He plays the Prosperity, and Jay has a Wanderer is the other one.
With the deck, using some of those older cards, like what is that one from Early Church? There's probably limited star abilities because it's also using things from the new set.
Sure,
and also roots.
Yep. All right, we see Brian resolving a Lawless there. Hits a Prosperity of his own, and he takes a Crowd's Choice. And there's the Lost Soul token, which only resolves once because it only counts itself when they all come out on the first turn. So Jay is going first. He just didn't have any star abilities. Plays a Tabernacle and an Egypt.
Egypt as well. Egypt is such a good versatility piece to go and grab something, especially with the one territory class.
Right,
kind of limiting that early, I guess, speed and consistency.
Yep. And now with Wilderness of Sinai, as you see with Jay doing here, like it used to be where Egypt just goes right to Pharaoh's daughter. Now it can go to Wilderness, which goes to Pharaoh's daughter, which goes to Moses, which is, it's just crazy how that one card gets you a +3, and it's not territory class, so it like doesn't take up your territory class slot or anything.
And he's already burned the Son of God to get rid of the Humble here.
Yeah, that's
and Mayhem. So he gets to get all that out of his hand.
I think so. That's +3 Mayhem, looked like.
Yeah.
I think he had 3 cards left in hand. That's crazy.
But good start for him, though.
Yeah, which, I mean, this was kind of how I felt when I played against Jay, like in round 2. So, yeah, a few rounds before this.
Yeah.
Looks like Pharaoh's daughter is a hero, too. That's worth noting. And Jay has a card that was upside down. Oh, man, that's... Did you see that?
That's technically, hey, that's a marked card.
And it was right on top of his deck, too. And I did see it, though, as he was drawing it. It looked like a Nicodemus that was on the... it was just on the evil character side, so that's how it's played in this deck, usually.
With that opening start, you have to start wondering if you did a double nickel.
Yeah, you never know. No. All right, so Brian drew into Galileans and Hopper.
He's going to give him token.
Yeah, did he trigger Galileans there, or did he resolve that?
Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't catch it.
I don't think he did. I didn't see him. Well, unless he like showed Jay a different card. The only card I could see when he fanned out his hand like that he could have gotten was Accumulator or the Thief. Both of those would be fairly reasonable targets, I think.
Yeah, which looking at his hand, he's got defense. He's got a way to a hero with Patmos. It looks like.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like he either
So
redrew or kept his crowd's choice.
yeah, seems like
So,
it's still a solid balanced hand.
yep. So Moses coming in, I guess, let's see, before Jay attacked even, should mention, he got down in Leaser and activated Holy of Holies, so Holy of Holies cannot be negated, negates characters except priests. Moses came in and just gonna make Jay play something, basically.
Yeah, did you see him start to pick up the soul and then put down the evil character? So I don't think he had much to go on. He wasn't confident in it, but
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where it's like either he's going to be bluffing or he's just going to make Jay use something. And I think that's the smart thing to do here because, like, Jay's offense is a little bit slim, but that's kind of the point. But, I mean, the more you can make him use early on, the more likely you are to, if you're able to pull off a few blocks, then you'll maybe be able to hold him off long enough.
yeah.
Especially with such an aggressive start that Jay had. In his discard phase, we got a Delivered to Pot of Mana. So I believe Jay searched for Delivered with Moses so that he could get the Pot of Mana up. And Pot of Mana also is CBM because of Leaser.
And Pot of Mana is the one that restricts to one character.
Yep. Yeah,
Is
each
that right?
player restricts each player from controlling more than one character in battle. Sorry, in the field of battle, I should clarify, because it does stop side battles as well, which is, I think, part of where it got that ability from, because that's what the original Pot of Mana did, was protect characters from side battles. So we got a Patmos into Peter to 4 Drachma coins so that Brian could do a little bit of drawing there. Looks like he has a 3 woes there. It's kind of nice that he's showing us what he has in hand. So doing on
Yeah.
hand cams here.
I will say that I am not as familiar with this deck because I didn't go to the tournament, so I am very much on the outside here. But having the thief that can target a character in territory and potentially take it, does the thief have the ability to take the priest that's making everything CBN?
Yes, I think so. The tricky part will be getting it through the Holy of Holies. Jay doesn't have a glory out yet, so if Brian can figure out a way to target the artifacts for removal with something. If he had a Chronicles here, that would be really good for him, but nobody plays that anymore.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's going to come back in favor, I think, a little bit,
Well, I
especially
think
with people moving to 57 card decks a lot lately. I can
yeah,
see somebody sliding that in as the extra dominant you pick up.
yeah, and especially against a tech or to tech against a deck like the one that Jay is playing here, where it's the Holy of Holies, Pot of Mana, Control. So we get it delivered into a blindness, which that's the one that if an opponent searches, they have to basically just take a random card from their deck instead of whatever card they want, which a little bit late for Brian. He would have liked to have had that on turn 1.
He's sitting on a
Or sorry.
star and resurrection. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Oh, sorry. I should have specified turn 1 before Jay's turn 1.
turn 0, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he would have just wanted to have gone first.
Oh,
So we get Peter coming in on the Meek side, Deceiver to Lying Prophet.
I mean,
Jay's going to
he
get a
is just
D3.
stacked.
Yeah, Brian's got dominance, but he has got no character abilities. That's gonna and like he's got a way to band with the Ascension, but nothing to really win the battle or negate, except for woes there, I guess, unless or if Jay has a way to win
Well,
the
he
battle
could
here.
play. Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
That's that.
yeah.
I was thinking worst case scenario, he could play Resurrection to get to Herod's Temple. Doesn't that play Herod's Temple?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then it's a 1-on-1, and you're tossing because of the pot of mana there.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he didn't do that. Maybe he was kind of waiting for value.
Yeah, you hate to waste the dominant for just that, but
Right.
I mean, if you're already feel like you're behind the tempo a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So Jay has a Dread Lost Soul that he drew. Looks like he's not triggering that. He's just going
So
straight
he's
into
just woes
the
his
woes.
blindness.
Yep.
And then you can keep up with Jay's woes target by using the Bulbasaur there. So as it moves around the table, that's what he'll be targeting for his negate.
So I believe he played the woes as good. I didn't actually hear what he said, but it's just the way it's oriented. I'm guessing that is correct. Needed Crowd's Choice is good into David. Activated Harp to shuffle the Thief. And take Royal Parade from reserve.
Harp against the Demon matchup is nice.
Yeah, that's not great for Jay. Or sorry, not great for Brian. It is great for Jay.
Everything's coming up Jay right now.
Yeah. Got a Temple Dedication being banished to protect. He doesn't have anything else to search for. So it protects Temple Priests and Musicians from evil cards, or is it from opponent?
I think it's from
opponents. Evil cards.
Evil cards. That's what Jay just confirmed.
Yeah.
Brian was thinking the same thing we were. We were on the same page there. Yeah, tossing the first. Yeah, I think
And then
Brian's just kind of, once again, making Jay use something here. Maybe he drops the woes on that.
It's also worth noting that gave up the soul, but
Yep.
it's also worth noting that using a limited offense with limited heroes, using Jeremiah that if he's harmed, he gets to top deck himself as a way to, kind of take on a little bit of damage and still have a hero without losing him.
Right. Yeah.
Is probably a really good play for this style of deck.
Yeah.
And I know that was one of the variants between John's version and Jay's version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Jeremiah, especially in a pot of mana matchup, or like with pot of mana and Holy of Holies, like Jeremiah likes both of those situations really well, where you're negating their evil characters and then you're limiting them to one evil character, because Jeremiah's got pretty decent numbers, and if you just have like a one spot removal battle winner, like one character removal, then you get the nice toss first there. I guess Royal Parade bounces all, though. Alright, so Golgotha into Sordid Spirit. CVP character there for Brian. Brian's
So at this point,
loaded with dominance.
Brian has just the one soul, correct? It's off the.
Yep, yeah, Brian's.
Off the
or no,
screen there,
he's
so
got
3 to
two. He played.
He played.
I believe he played Son of God, right?
I know that Jay played Son of God before the Mayhem, and I felt like Brian had two, but not seeing it on the screen there.
Yeah. Well, everybody else will know. They'll see the score on the screen.
They will, and they'll be like, "Why are you guys uninformed?"
Yep. Let's see if Son of God is.
And I'll just tell them it's an election year. That's why we're uninformed.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. All right, so good Crowd's Choice to reserve for AOC, which is interesting. I mean, like,
It is interesting considering
He doesn't have initiative
there's
anywhere.
and there's no evil characters on the board for that added value of wiping out things.
Right, yeah.
Because as you noted, Pharaoh's daughter is also a hero, so Jay hasn't put down an evil character yet.
Right. Okay, so yeah, there was the second coming back to Son of God. So yeah, Brian is now also at 3. So
Which three in this game feels it doesn't feel even.
right. Yeah, I mean, well, Jay has not played Second Coming yet. I think he's gonna try to dig for that now if he doesn't have it already. He's doing that through drawing off Nicodemus, and then he got a, is that Shepherds or is that Grumbled? I think it's Grumbled. Underdeck to draw 1 Lost Soul.
Yeah.
He did not find.
Both of those are so good for the consistency.
Yeah, that was big for Brian, Jay not having an answer there. Nicodemus.
So that's 4-3 now.
Yep. Yeah. So Brian pulls ahead.
Yeah. Which is very interesting.
I'm a little bit surprised that Brian puts down Sordid Spirit there, because now it can be hit by David's Harp. Lost Soul's coming down on Jay's end.
Well, he's still probably trying to hold on to those dominants without, being forced to use them in inopportune times.
Yeah.
Getting dominants when you can't use them in the game really locks your hand up.
Right, yeah.
So
I suppose he could play Woes on Harp. Actually, so did Jay shuffle a demon and take an enhancement last turn with David's Harp? Or did he take it with something else? So he took Royal Parade from his reserve.
does he have a storehouse hidden somewhere?
I don't think so.
I see Tabernacle. You might have caught something. I'm telling you, It might be a double nickel. I'm just saying.
I don't know, Jay.
We don't think Jay would do it intentionally, but
No.
that's part of the complication with some of these wordy abilities. Sometimes you think they operate a little bit different than how they're intended.
And you don't get to use the shuffle on David's Harp all that often. At least, not like it's mostly used for the take ability.
Right, but I mean, if you're the player on the other side of the table, you have the responsibility to keep up with it as well. So
yeah,
both of them missed it. Then
yeah. So shame on Brian. Really,
just carry on.
All right, so yeah, Brian's got to go for the Sordid Spirit here. He's looking at his reserve. We saw Beelzebub in there. Also saw Swine Stampede.
Finally, a dominance coming down.
Yep.
We're gonna see the Woes played as evil.
He's targeting Pot of Mana.
But it's CBN.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think he's realizing that and maybe switching his target here.
Yeah. There's just so many pieces that link together to make this honeypot deck what it is, that it's hard to find like the weakest part to pick off, especially when you have a character that makes itself and all of these artifacts and things CBN, because it's not like you can negate him so that the next turn those things are not CBN or whatever.
Right, yeah, you really have to remove him, and then, if you can't just woes, you gotta, he could have done like Sordid Spirit to Beelzebub to take care of Eliezer that way, but I think at this point it doesn't really matter, because because so when he reactivates, or if he got rid of Eliezer and Jay went to reactivate Holy Folies and Pot of Mana on the next turn, then they would not be CBN.
Right. And then they could be kind of picked off with Wozing and other ways to negate.
Right.
But I think that's also like a key point of. I think a lot of decks right now are built to negate things and use negates as their way to answer things. There's not a lot of built-in like card removal options. It's usually tied to I can negate that and then do what I want.
Yeah.
And this is something where you have to find a way to physically take it off the board.
Right. Yep. All right, so Beelzebub goes in, takes out the Jeremiah, fetches up a
And then-
Wandering Spirit, and bites the dust with the Angel of the Lord there.
Yeah.
And Jay does
that's
have a
gonna be
second
4.
coming.
So
Man, that I feel like Jay drew pretty much everything he needed for his offense, and then he had nothing on defense. But fortunately, he won the die roll and got to capitalize on it.
yeah. And I hate to be, doing this commentary now without us having paid attention there to that turn. I wonder if missing that and him getting the enhancement from his reserve at the same time that he was shuffling, if he did do that on that turn, did that, sneak a turn away from Brian to extend the game, because he did win that battle with that Royal Parade.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wonder if maybe there could have been a block there if he didn't get the Royal Parade, or...
Yeah, possibly. I think in hindsight he would have just taken the Royal Parade because the Thief wasn't really doing anything at that point, so he didn't really need to shuffle the Thief.
Right,
with
but if
David's
you've
Heart.
already shuffled if you've already
Yeah.
made the choice to shuffle, you don't get to revisit it and change it.
Right, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's something that you gotta keep an eye on. Make sure you're reading your abilities, reading your opponent's abilities, catching those kind of things. And yeah, that was a very close game. It ended up being 5-4. I think Brian, with all the dominance he had still, he had Resurrection. I guess the Star of Bethlehem wasn't really doing anything. He could have put down Heavenly Host and gotten a draw 1 off of it, but he still had Authority of Christ as well, so it seems likely that Brian would have managed to get in on his next turn, depending on what else Jay had there. He had 6 cards in hand by the looks of it, and we know that one of them is a Magnificat, so Jay was probably still fairly light on defense. Nero is tough, though, with Pot of Mana. Gotta still figure out a way around him, but...
There's a few characters with Pot of Mana that are, defensive. Like just beast, protected from dominance and opponents.
Yeah.
Lone heroes, like you're forcing them to be alone, and you're CBN forcing them to be alone.
Right.
So,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then you have the CBP on those kinds of characters. I think it's Nero, and then who's the Herod that is protected from loan? Is that Archelaus?
Is that? Yeah, I think so.
I haven't played.
It's either
Herods
Archelaus or Agrippa II, but
I think Agrippa is the
one that's
protected
from multiple,
more than one. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also have since you're restricted from more than one character, it's not a human, but isn't Leviathan also protected from dominance? It doesn't get the protected from loan, but it's protected from dominance, so it kind of makes you play around it a little bit more, because the guy's pretty beefy,
right?
And it can go and fetch. It can go and fetch a negate from your reserve with Fire from Heaven, I believe is the card.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely some good defenses that can play, alongside or like play well with Holy of Holies and Pot of Mana, or like, I guess not necessarily good defenses, but good defensive cards that might be worth kind of giving a little bit more weight to as you're deck building. Like, okay, this card works well in against this sort of popular and definitely powerful strategy that's coming up now. So,
yeah, but that was also a really not just a tight game, which we say tight. I think we all kind of knew going in at this point that this video is coming out that Jay won because he went undefeated. But that opening hand for the way that it operated for Jay, for it to end up being a 5-4 game, is pretty close.
Yeah.
And then it was a 29-minute game or something.
Yeah, it was very quick.
So-
20 minutes. Like I suppose we could still watch them clean up if we wanted to and see if they say anything interesting. But yeah, the game was over in 20 minutes. That was because they both rescued on every opportunity they had, every turn they had, and they both played Son of God and Second Coming. So
I could have pulled it out.
Yeah.
I just played a different line.
I think if Jay didn't have the woes early on when that blindness came down, he could have really
Not go to it early.
struggled for a couple of turns. And all Brian needed in this game, it felt like, was just one more. Like he needed to extend the game by one turn. Because I mean it was 5-4, and he never got a chance to put the authority of Christ down. He never really got
You went first.
a good rescue. It looked like.
yeah, all his
And-
rescues
and-
were just like, oh, Jay doesn't have defense.
Yeah, and he was sitting on like Resurrection to parry in multiple abilities and things, and
Yeah,
if he could have just extended it one more turn and get one block. And I mean, Jay not being able to search for those enhancements to be his battle winners with the blindness, Mike could have extended it. But I mean, that's how close a game like this comes down to between two great players.
yep. Yeah, I think the demon defense that Brian was playing relies a lot on the character abilities, and so the Holy of Holies there really shut his defense down for the most part. Like he had characters, he had a few enhancements, he had stuff to do for blocks or for potential blocks, but yeah, that's I guess kind of the point of the honeypot deck here is that it's just trying to shut down those kinds of abilities. I think if Brian was playing a different defense, like something in gray, or he might have had a more higher likelihood, I guess, of being able to generate the one block that he needed. But yeah, it was a very interesting matchup. Just two very aggressive decks, but kind of aggressive in different ways, I guess, where Jay's doesn't necessarily have to be aggressive, but in this game it certainly was.
Yeah, I think Jay, the way he played that, how quick and like seamless his abilities and things worked and resolved together. There wasn't a lot of thinking and hesitation on his part. Like he knew what he was wanting to do, got to his spots, found his lines of play, and did it.
Yep.
I could see this deck being one of those that less familiar players or players just pick up and play in a tournament, being a killer against the clock. Because not only do you have, like, if you're the player having to set this up, but then if the player across the table has not played it and they're not a Booster Jones in this case, or some of the more veteran players that Jay played against, I
Yeah.
could see them asking. Even Brian had the thing where he plays the woes down and then realizes that he can't target what he wants to target, or that it's not going to work because you've got Eliezer or whatever making them CBN.
Yeah.
And just that puzzle piece mentality of like what's the chain link that I need to go and target. I could just see that slowing down the person that you're playing against as they try to figure that out on the fly, and
Right.
players that aren't as familiar with. So I don't know that this is a deck I would recommend people to pick up and try to play at a tournament until you played a ton of games with it, goldfished it, and you really know your spots like Jay did there, because that was almost masterful the way that he went through that first turn.
Yeah, he definitely.
See, and I'll give
is-
Jay credit. I usually, I'm usually one of the people knocking Jay, but I'll give him some props here.
Yeah, I mean that's really Jay's style anyway. It's just play card, play card, play card, and once in a while he'll make a mistake from playing too fast. But I think the odds are well enough in his, or like the amount of good plays that he makes offsets those in a lot of cases. I mean we've seen that in a lot of his games recently for sure, except at nationals. But there we go. Now we get the Jay ribbing in there. But I guess on the other hand, like for this deck in particular, when you have Pot of Mana and you have Holy of Holies active and you're kind of locking your opponent out of abilities and banding, and all that stuff, then it reduces their options enough where their turn's actually not going to be that long. Like, I think Brian's turns definitely would have been a lot longer if, you know, he was able to play Resurrection and be resolving those abilities, and, you know, he was able to use Matthew, convert him to Meek, and get at the drawing and all that stuff. So it slows the
That's
game down in
fair.
the thinking sense, or like people, okay, processing this is my attack, but it does kind of smooth things out as far as there are fewer abilities that have to be resolved or that can actually activate.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I guess I'm just, thinking more on the hesitance for us as players that are in those lockout situations to admit that we're locked out.
Right, yeah,
And
it's
we're
like, no, I
going
can
through
find the
every
line. There's a
option. Like,
line.
I can, yes, there is something. Let me uncover it. We're
Yep.
digging in the sand, and there might not be anything there. And against a deck like that, like, the
Yeah.
chances are there's probably not anything there, because that's pretty tough to get around.
Right, and that's where I think Jay's playstyle can actually, I mean, maybe not necessarily tilt the other player, but like, because Jay's playing so fast, when you're
Oh,
sitting
Jay does like to try to tilt players
yeah.
too. Yeah. When I
When-
first played him, he was like, "All right, so what's gonna be your move? Come on,
Yeah,
what's your move?"
yeah.
I was
I
like,
mean-
"Calm down, don't be a bag."
All right, we gotta keep it family friendly here.
Oh, my bad. We allow that on the podcast. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah, we're not quite as
That's why we've been shut down for a couple months.
good. Yeah, we don't want to get demonetized here. I don't know if that's actually we're not actually monetized to begin with, so it doesn't matter. But no, I mean, I guess maybe Andy would not appreciate that. I should actually mention that, though. Speaking of Andy, there is a promo discount going out that's going through today into the weekend, I believe. Like Sunday, I think, is the last day for the 25% off of promos at Your Turn Games. So if you are looking for some of
Promos?
those elusive national promos, or maybe you're looking for a Chastisement of the Lord for 50 cents off or whatever it is for $2, you can get that too. But yeah, he's got promos going. I think the 2023 Textless Son of God is $200, which if you're doing the math with me along with me at home, that's $150 off when it's 25% off. So that might be a good one to pick up. And I can see John's already thinking about it here.
Oh no, I have to swear off. I ended up with a couple copies of it, so I'm good.
All right, fair enough. You got
I'm good.
you got your collector one and you're playing one.
Yeah, something like that. Although at this point these days, I'm fighting with Keegan because some cards he's wanting, he needs a copy to play. Like,
There
what's
you
the is it 2018 Angel of the Lord that has the lightning? That's from the comic book.
Oh, yep, yeah.
And I got a play copy, and he's like, "Daddy, I want that one." All right, so Daddy went and bought another one.
Yeah.
So
Gotta get the kid what he wants. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. There are definitely some promos that are, or like there's only a select number of promos that he actually has in stock there. So you'll have to go to yourturngames.biz and check that out. Link is in the description below, and I'll probably even just put the direct link to the promos, so you can check it out there and navigate around the website as you please. But anyway, I think that's all I got for this game. This was a good game. This is very aggressive, like we had mentioned. 20-minute game here, which that's the way Jay wants it to go, I think. With
that's
this
for all
style
you
of deck
people that
in
say
particular.
that's for all you people that say you can't play Redemption in the time limit. That
Yeah.
just shows you.
Yep,
I mean, you just have to admit defeat the J. That's what makes it hard.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that the time is not going to be spent resolving abilities, but it's going to be spent making decisions, plays even more into Jay's favor. when it comes to like going to nationals or something, because then you got judges there that they're going to keep you on the clock and make sure that you are only making you're not going too far above your 90 seconds or not going beyond your 90 seconds if they're right on you. So that's definitely an upside for this deck, is that it's going to keep you honest, and you're going to have to admit defeat or find the line of play more quickly. But anyways, that's where we're going to wrap it up for round 5 of the TJC Memorial Tournament, with Jay taking this game against Brian 5-4, and we'll see Jay again next round playing against John Early. So
Mirror match.
yeah, that will certainly be an interesting game as well. I think I haven't actually watched it yet, but we're going to be back for some commentary with that one as well. So keep an eye out for that one coming out next week. All right, catch you all later.
All right, peace.